Hey, did you know that a 60-hour work week actually decreases your productivity by 25%? So that means the busier you are, the less productive you become. Have you ever wondered why it feels like you're doing everything? You're running here, you're doing this, you're doing that, and yet you don't get anything done? I think that's why. In this video, we are going to talk about time management tips for busy moms. Hey friend, my name is Melanie Borbo, and I am a mental health and money mentor. So I am passionate about helping parents to have more time, be more present, work less, live more, all the things, so that our kids can benefit, because our kids are the ones that are suffering from us working so hard. We think we're doing amazing things for them by working so hard and having the money to buy all the things, but truthfully, I don't think that that's the case. And I'm excited to dig into these tips. Okay, so what are these tips and what do we have to do in order to change our situation? So the first thing that I want to talk about is the laws of success. There are actually laws of success that are written in the greatest success book ever written, and I want to share them with you because I think it's really important that we pay attention to this stuff. So the first one is the law of focus. What are we focusing on? What we focus on, we get more of. But when we're not focused, everything is scattered and we're way less productive. So what are we focusing on and what can we do, right? So I want you to keep these in your mind because they're going to play into the other tips that I have for you. The second one is law of reaping and sowing. So we reap what we sowed in the past. So that goes for our time as well. Are we being good stewards of our time? Are we, really stewarding and shepherding the time that we have? Or are we wasting it, just wasting it on whatever, TV or whatever the thing is? We have to get really good at reaping good with our time, okay? The next law that we have to focus on is the law of promotion. And this says that if we can be trusted with a little, we will be made ruler over much, much more. And that goes for our time and our money as well. When we can get really good at being trusted with what we already have and utilizing it in a way that is beneficial, more will be given to us. Not necessarily more time. Obviously, there's only 24 hours in a day, but we will become more focused, we'll become better with the time, and we will be able to have a bigger influence. And the fourth one is the law of vision. So the law of vision says that a man without a vision will perish. And that means that if we don't know where we're going and we just flounder around, our dreams will perish, our finances might perish, right? Like we need to have a plan and a vision for what we're going to be doing. So those are the four laws. Okay, so we want to talk about how to make the laws of success that we just talked about. How does that work in alignment with our goals and our time? So think about this. If you were to just go on a trip, right? You want to go on a trip, but you didn't plan a thing. You didn't know where you were going. You didn't know how you were going to get there. You didn't know when you were leaving. You didn't know anything. What are the chances of you actually ever getting there? None, right? Like you would just drive around endlessly. You would have no idea even if you even arrived, let alone when you should leave and what you should pack for or the direction that you should take. That's what goals are to us. And I say that because goal setting has been kind of a thing. I've never really liked the idea of goal setting because I always thought I don't want to be limited, right? I want to be free. However, there's a ton of freedom in knowing where we're going. So what do we need to do? I learned this way of time management from a business coach many, many years ago when my kids were still quite small. Teenagers, actually. My kids are all big now. But, and I loved I took what I needed from her and I kind of massaged it and made it into my own sort of thing because that's what moms do, right? We have to figure out what works for us and how to use it in our lives. And so what I do is, what she had mentioned is that you break down your goals. You want to have your goals broke down into categories. So she had 5 categories and I loved them and I just followed them. Like there's a spiritual one, then there's your family, your fun, your finances, so your work, your personal, like all of these things, right? So put them into, I want you to write down all your goals that you'd like to achieve in the next 90 days, because there's proof, scientific evidence that working in 90-day blocks is more efficient than trying to work out, like if you only have 30-day goals, or if you want, 6 year or 1 year or whatever. If it's too small, we typically can't hit the goal in that time. And so then we get frustrated and we stop making goals. And I can attest to that. That's totally what happened to me. Or it stretches out so far that you think, I got time. I don't need to work on, I don't need to worry about it today. So when you work on 90-day increments, 90-day blocks, there's a time to reassess in that 90 days to make sure that you're going to actually hit that goal. And so that's what I do now. I love that. So, okay, so write down your goals. Best to have between 3 to 5. Don't do tons, because otherwise then they just get watered down and you get overwhelmed or whatever, and you don't do anything anyway. So less is more in this case. So you want to have 3 to 5 really good goals that you want to get kind of achieved in the next 90 days. And the reason you're going to do that is because now when you're thinking time management, you can know where to put your time. And then you're actually going to get things done in a day without thinking, oh my word, I've done nothing today. I was so busy and I did nothing today. I hate that feeling. Don't you hate that feeling? So what are we going to do? Write down all your goals, but I want you to get 5 or however many goals you have. I want you to have that many highlighters. So you're going to take and you're going to highlight each goal in a different color, because in the next tip, I'm going to tell you why and what we're going to do with that to make it all fit together. But you want to have, each goal in a separate color. And okay, take some time, pause me right now, take some time and write down your goals and highlight them all in a different color. In the categories, right? Like your categories are going to be, because your goals will change, but your categories probably will not. So you want to keep your categories as that color, and your goals within that category are going to be the same color. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay, pause me and go do that now. Okay, did you get that done? Did you get your goals written down on paper? Now what I want you to do is I want you to get a day timer or a calendar or a scheduler of some description. Now I'm a pen and paper kind of girl. I love to write everything. I journal a ton every day, and I love color and I love to highlight things and I love to check things off lists. So this works for me. If you are more of a electronic kind of girl and you want to do it on a Google Calendar and you can highlight everything, that's cool too. Doesn't matter to me. But you got to have some sort of system that you're going to highlight and schedule. You're going to time block. Have you ever heard of time blocking? It means you're actually going to break things up in your day and you're going to specify that that's the time that's going to happen. So you get let's say you got your day timer, you got your calendar. I should have brought mine in here. I never did, but now what you want to do is you want to look at the things that are the most important in your day, the things that you can't function without. For me, that's my spiritual development. That's my time with God. That's the first thing that I do. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I know that I want to spend an hour and a half, whatever, 2 hours some days with him in the morning before my day actually starts. And so that was something I discovered when my kids were small, because I had 3 kids under the age of 4. And I realized that I wasn't getting any time for myself, and I was not a really nice mom. I was irritable. I was short with them. And I thought, this is not how I want to raise my kids. It's not how I want to be. So I knew that I had to make time for myself. And it didn't happen at night. Like, let's be real. After you've chased them all day and done whatever, worked all day, whatever you've done, by the time you sit down when the kids go to bed, if you're like me, I was just mush. My brain was mush. I'm exhausted. I can't do anything. And so it was better for me to do it first thing in the morning. And I've heard that same thing from other people, that it is best for them to do it in the morning. But again, find your groove. And so you write that in your calendar. Big, like that's the color, that's your time. That's your time that you want to spend, right? And that's a non-negotiable. You're not going to break these appointments. These are appointments that you're setting with yourself. And in the beginning, it might be a little bit hard because sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I don't want to do this, but as we build that muscle of keeping our word to ourselves, we get stronger at it, and life just gets so much easier. I'm telling you, life gets so much easier when we can control our time. So now, let's say spiritual, whatever, is blue. That's in my calendar, 5 o'clock in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Then another one, let's say pink is family or spouse. Let's say that's your spouse. Now, you want to have time with your spouse. You want to have time to talk with your spouse, like without the kids, without, whatever, just quiet time you want. And I believe, we were just at a wedding yesterday, beautiful, and they were talking about how important it is for husband and wives to date continually. And I believe that 100%. I believe that. That's how you keep the love alive. That's how you keep that relationship, front and center, is to be together and date and do fun things together. So you want to set up a date night once, like whatever, if it's once a week or once a month or whatever, however that works for you. But you want to write that in your calendar, right? This is our date night. This is our time to be together. And you should have some time each day to try and have a few minutes with your spouse to converse about the day, whatever, talk about life, kids, whatever. So put those things in there. Now, let's say another category you had was family. And let's say that's orange, just for easy, right? Now you want to schedule in all your, like for me, supper was a non-negotiable. My kids had to be at the table with no cell phones, no distractions. We ate together, we talked together. Like there was only rare times during the week that my kids did not come to the table with me. And that was only because some weird thing, but I loved that time together. And so keep that, make sure you have time. And I'm not talking about sitting in front of the TV, eating something on a TV table or whatever those things are called. I'm talking about really sitting down as a family. This is really important stuff. So block that in. When is your supper hour? You could even get the kids helping you prepare food. It's another way to spend time with them, hear about their day, kill two birds with one stone, right? Now, if you have work or if you have a business, you want to put that in, say, yellow or green or something, right? And you want to block in that time, because if you work outside of the home, you already have those times blocked. You don't get to change that. But if you work inside the home, if you're working at home or trying to start a business or run a business, that can get really gray and that can get easily missed. But if we're not doing the things, we won't have the business that we want. We won't have the income that we want. We won't have the time that we want. So make sure that you're putting time in for your whatever, your finances, your money, your work, like whatever that is, because you want to keep those appointments to yourself. So, and then you want to have white space, meaning there's nothing in it. You want to have some time. Like if you do work full time and you have a lunch break, that's white space. Just leave it, because the white space is the space for the spontaneous things, the fun things, all of a sudden, if the day goes off the rails, you have still some wiggle room inside your day. So white space is really important, and you want to have it some in every day. And so these are some of the tips that I have used to manage time for many years, many years. Like I'm talking, I don't know, probably 10 years or 8 years I've been doing this, and I love it. It just gives me so much freedom, and I get so much done, right? So I really, truly pray that this blesses you and that you really dig in and do this. And I would love to hear in the comments if you've done it, what was hard for you, and if you did it and what your results are. I'd love to hear that. And hey, if you benefited from this channel, then I pray that you just go ahead and subscribe, like the video, subscribe, so that more people obviously can hear this message and you will not miss anything. Because I will have a new video every week, as well as my podcast. My podcast comes out every week, and I'll have some webinars on here sometimes too. So there's lots of stuff going to be happening on this channel. So I pray that I see you here again. Hey friend, if you find that time is running away from you and your kids are just growing up too fast, and you actually really truly want to work less, earn more, and be more present with them, I have what might be the answer to prayer for you. It was for us. We have started a digital marketing program, and it is teaching us how to master a 2-hour workday, to earn a full-time income, and to not have to talk to people, not have to spend time in the DMs, not having to call our friends and family. We don't have to have tons of tech skills. It's really been an amazing opportunity. And not only that, but there's like a community, such a powerful, engaging, encouraging community that is coming up behind us to help us and teach us and mentor us every step of the way. So if you want to learn, if you're ready to start something else, you need some more income, or you know that the income that you have is taking way too much of your time, I'd be really happy to help you. Just go to dailypaidblessings.com, put your email in, and you'll have access to a couple videos that'll tell you all about it, give you all the details. And then if you still have questions, just reply to the email and I'd be happy to get back to you. But it really, truly could be an answer to your prayers. All right, that's dailypaidblessings.com. Take care and God bless.